Now that we finally have access to the version 4.4, we got introduced to Pyro Xiao. And no, it's not Diluc. Gaming is a Pyro Claymore user that is focused on being a plunge attack DPS just like Xiao, but with some different gimmicks. And seems to be super interesting since he's a 4-star that can fight close against other 5-stars thanks to his idea of using plunge attacks, which end up being the attacks with the biggest scaling on the game. Without any furthers, if you haven't followed me, what are you waiting for? Like this video because it really motivates me a lot. I know that 97% of you are not subscribed, so please, it doesn't cost you anything. So let's try to reduce that number even more, okay? I'm trying my best to post as regular as possible, and your support from that side will help me with my motivation. I recommend you activating the bell for you to be notified when I post any video here. Also, if you guys want to help me with a little monetary help, you can always become a member. Without any furthers, let's now explain Gaming's kit.
Up to it, Manzai!
Gaming is a 4-star Pyro Claymore focused on being a main DPS that uses plunging attacks, but in a special way. On his normal attacks, Gaming performs up to 4 consecutive strikes, and on his charge attack, he consumes a certain amount of stamina to perform continuous pinging attacks against all nearby opponents. You already know the drill, same animations as others. When you use his skill, Bestial Ascent, Gaming pounces forward using the Wushu Hearts, leaping high into the air after coming into contact with a target or a surface. After he uses the skill to rise into the air, he will be able to use an enhanced version of his plunging attack, called Charmed Cloud Strider, and this plunge attack damage is converted to pyro damage and cannot be overridden by any other elemental infusions. And it's not even all. Even though Gaming is not from Fontaine, he wanted to join the party and be a character that manipulates his HP, because upon landing, he will consume 15% of his HP, but his HP cannot be reduced below 10% with his method. On his burst, Suwani's Gilded Dance, Gaming enters a new state, briefly applying pyro to him and recovering a fixed amount of HP. On this state, he will summon his companion, the Suwani Mai Shai, to smash into his target, dealing AoE pyro damage. After bashing its target, his companion will roll to a nearby location before moving towards to Gaming. When it links up with Gaming, Manshai will leave the field and reset the cooldown for Gaming's elemental skill. While on this state, his resistance to interruption is increased, and when Gaming lands with his enhanced plunging attack or completes the forward pounce attack from his skill over 50% HP, he will summon Manshai again. This effect will be cancelled once Gaming leaves the field, and each Gaming can only have one companion. His burst got 60 energy and has a 50 seconds cooldown.
Up to it, Manzai!
Now, let's talk about Gaming passives because he has some interesting ones. His exploration passive increases your team movement speed during the day. It's not amazing, but it's good for those who will like to use him on Overworld. With his first Ascension passive, Dance of Amity, after Gaming enhanced plunging attack from the skill hits an enemy, Gaming will regain 1.5% of his max HP once every 0.2 seconds for a total of 0.8 seconds. This passive will make your Gaming recover 6% of the original 15% you will be losing when you use his skill. On his second Ascension passive, Air of Prosperity, when Gaming has less than 50% of HP, he will receive a 20% incoming healing bonus, but if he has 50% HP or more, his enhanced plunging attack will do 20% more damage. His talent priorities are the following. Focus on his skill first, because this will be his main source of damage, then his burst, and for last his normal attacks, which you can leave them at low level unless you play him with C6 Bennett.
Up to it, Manzai!
Now let's talk a bit about Gaming Constellations, because you probably got some, or you are thinking on getting them from the Lantern event. On his C1, when his companion meets back with Gaming while you have your burst active, it will heal 50% of Gaming's HP. This is something that is not totally amazing, but it's comfortable for those who intend on using him without a healer. On his C2, when Gaming receives healing and his essence of healing overflows, his attack will be increased by 20% for 5 seconds. This constellation is amazing if you are getting too much heals from his passives and previous constellations or from other team members, and is for sure one of his best constellations. His C3 will increase the level of his skill by 3, with his C4, when an enhanced plunging attack from his skill hits an opponent, it will restore 2 energy to Gaming. This effect can be triggered once every 0.2 seconds. This constellation will help Gaming a lot with his energy requirements, turning out to be an amazing constellation for those who are struggling to get ER. His C5 will increase the level of his burst by 3, and for last, with his C6, your enhanced plunging attack from the skill will have its crit rate increased by 20% and crit damage increased by 40%, and also its attack radius will be increased as well. This constellation, just like as many other 4-star DPSs, it's their best constellation and will improve your damage by a lot. Definitely a must for any gaming mains.
Up to it, Manzai!
It's finally time to talk about the best artifact sets that you will want to use on your gaming. For his best in slot set, Marishoshi without any doubt will be the best pick. With its 2-piece you will increase your normal and charge attacks damage by 50%, and with its 4-piece, when your currently HP increases or decreases, your crit rate will be increased by 12% for 5 seconds and with a max of 3 stacks. Since Gaming consumes his own HP and also regenerates it, even if you don't pair him with Furina, this will be your best set. Another good option for Gaming is 4-piece Vermilion. With his 2-piece it will provide you with 18% attack bonus, and on the 4-piece it will give you more attack percent after you using your burst, and will increase even more this attack buff if your HP decreases. Since Gaming will open his rotation with his burst, this set is a good option for him, but still not as great as Marishoshi. Crimson Witch is not a bad option as well, which will give you 15% pyro damage bonus on its 2-piece, and on its 4-piece it will increase the damage of any pyro reaction you do. And if you use the skill, it will increase the 2-piece set bonus by 50% with a max of 3 stacks, utilizing an extra 7.5 pyro damage for every skill you use up to 3 times. If you don't want any of these options, you can mix and match the 2 pieces between the sets that can provide attack percent, pyro damage, and or EM, but keep in mind your goal should be the Marishoshi set no matter what.
Up to it, Manzai!
After knowing the best sets for gaming, let's now talk about the best stats you will be looking for. For the Sense, you will want either attack percent or EM. It will most likely depend on which buffs you are going to get from your team, weapons, etc. So I will leave this decision up to you. For the Goblet, pyro damage should always be your pick. And for the Circlet, and since his best set is Marishoshi, which already provides a lot of crit rate, crit damage should be the better pick if you get a good crit split. For the subsets, you should be looking for crits, attack, EM, and ER. Energy recharge will always be good to have, especially because Gaming seems to have some struggles with it. Anything between 130 and 150 ER should be good to go if you don't have SC4. If you have it, you don't need that much ER because you will getting energy super fast.
Up to it, Manzai!
For Gaming weapons, it will be good with mostly any 5-star crit weapons you can give him, since he doesn't have a specific best in slot. His best 4-star option will be the Serpent Spine, providing crit rate on the substat and give you extra damage with his passive. This weapon, even though it is a 4-star, it may actually end up being better than some 5-star weapons. For the F2P players, his best F2P weapon is the Male Flower. It will give EM on the substat, and on his passive, it will increase both your attack and elemental mastery after you trigger an elemental reaction within 8 seconds. Rain Slasher is also an amazing weapon for gaming, especially for those who want to do vape gaming. It will provide EM on its substat, and on its passive it will increase the damage against opponents affected by Hydro and Electro. If you want your gaming to be a vape DPS on your account, this weapon is one of the best ones you could give him. For those who don't have any of these weapons, the craftable Claymore from Fontaine, Tidal Shadow, it will be your best option. It will give you attack percent on the substat, and will increase even more your attack for 8 seconds after you get healed. And since it's a craftable weapon, you will end up being able to R5 it.
Up to it, Manzai!
For gaming teams, you actually have some diversity for almost every liking. For a gaming hypercarry team, pair him with Bennett, Furina, and Shanyun, and no one will stop your gaming. For a Mel team, pair him with Bennett and an Anemo character. For a vape team, pair him with Bennett, Furina, Shinkyu, or Elan, and an Anemo character. And for an Electro Charge team, pair him with Bennett, Chevreuse, and an Electro character. Some things worth mentioning is that Gaming will enjoy a lot the company of Shanyun and C6 Bennett on his teams, but they are not a must. They are just good improvements to add on your teams if you end up having them.
Up to it, Manzai!
After this guide, I hope you have a more understanding on how to build and play with the new Pyro Shell, because as you can see, he is amazing and will for sure be one of the best 4-star DPSs you could have, maybe even having equal power to some 5-star DPSs on his higher constellations. If you liked the video, don't forget to leave a sub and to like this video. Your support is amazing and I'm so happy to have you from that side. Let's ask for Gaming's help to plunge his way until the sub button to reduce those 97% non-subscribers, okay? All my other socials are on the description. Tell me your opinion about Gaming on the comments, okay? Have you tested him? Will you pick him up on the Lantern Ride? My name is DFenix, and see you all in the next video. See ya.